No. I think there's obviously, systematic racism and discrimination sustained over centuries has done a massive job on us. But I think if you look in the last 100 years, even, I think the black community has really come so far. So many things have happened in the last 100 years. But it's difficult because if you still look at culture, there is still a lot of
segregation.
There's a kind of crabs in a barrel mentality, and when I think of my grandparents that came over from Jamaica and the Caribbean community, there was partner. Families would all put in money. They would all support someone at one point. Everyone put money in, and then at 1 month, someone would take all the money out. And that would help them with their business, their job, their rent, or a holiday, or whatever it was. Obviously, maybe not a holiday back then. Maybe they were going back home. We don't really do that anymore. And I think
that's the question. Like, why
culture,
not? What's happened?
I think that culture has to continue. I think traditions, like I said, routines and rituals, there are things that have to continue. And it's also about those generations continuing it, because my dad and his siblings then didn't have a partner, that then stopped. So I think that perhaps technology, future, there's certain
the way of the world.
Also, things change, but I think that the old ways, we always come back to the old ways, but we don't always understand them, and we don't understand their importance. And I think perhaps maybe that's the reason why. But there's definitely, even joking like, oh, this is a light skin face. Why are we still saying things like that? Why are we still talking about light skin, dark skin, nappy hair, straight hair, good hair? All of these terms, like they're damaging.
And there's certain things that or certain terms that they try to ban, like half caste.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? So like once we get to our kind of age groups and stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff that we need to be kind of mindful of.
There's a lot of conditioning as well.
There's a lot of conditioning.
There's a lot of conditioning, because I think we have to mind, once you get into people's minds, it's different.
Where like everybody needs to know their heritage.
Not everyone wants to.
Not everybody wants to,
and that's the problem.
Not everybody wants
to,
but we need to though.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, and if you think of Black Wall Street, if you look at Notting Hill, if you look at Brixton, if you look at all of these communities that started to build, and of course got, disrupted every time. It takes a lot to rebuild. To build in the first place, but to rebuild, it's so hard when you have systematic racism in place, ensuring that you are not going to succeed. People get tired.
Do you you know what, sometimes using certain words before I ask a question might make people feel like, what was I about to ask? But let me word it like this, the elephant in the room is again, because I feel like sometimes it's good for us black people to try, if we're going to move forward in certain ways, to take accountability.
I agree.
So if we're talking about the key word here, distraction, do you feel like with these social medias, once again, all of these things that's happening, do you feel like one of the reasons why we're also like kind of like behind when it comes to economics and building like our own, like wealth as black people, is because for whatever reason, as black people, we are the easiest race to still distract?
I think
because obviously if we talk about music and whichever ways you want to see it, you get me? Do you think that's one of the issues as well? Because we easily as black people, we're too distracted in our culture. Again, not everybody, because I always like to say, but if you
there's they say things travel down in the DNA, and trauma travels down. It does. I don't subscribe to black trauma on screen. I don't watch, so I still haven't watched George Floyd's 12-minute video.
Never.
Because I said I'm not doing that. Something happens to your body when you do that. Even now, Palestine, Congo, Sudan, I have sat for hours on my sofa watching, but after not for a while, and then go, no, I need to see this because I'm privileged. I have the option to turn it on and off. They're living it. But there is something that happens to you when you are constantly seeing those images. It's so dehumanizing, but also you get used to that. And I think as Black people, as a community, there's a conditioning that's happened over time where people are so used to seeing this, it's normal. No one blinks.
That's the issue.
No one blinks. You see someone getting arrested and there's so much brutality. It's important that these things are documented because we know. Yeah. We know it happens, and we know that we have to try and prove it because obviously it's a racist system. But I think there's a choice that we have to make. What we watch, what we tap into, what we take in, and also what we share.
Oh,
you don't have to share everything.
You're hitting all of the keynotes, to be fair. What we share,
have a conversation about it, and then talk about how things can change.
Yeah.
That's what I think needs to start happening more. Conversations, change makers, community, people coming together. Everyone wants to, well, not everyone, many people want to strive for their own goals and their own things. But sometimes, as we've seen, you have to come together. You have to build as a family or a community for everyone to get what they need. And I think once we have that equity, we'll start to improve and we'll start to progress more.